What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk some Scream 6 news. Really, let's just kind of recap all the stuff that's happened over the last day, and I'm talking mainly about Jenna Ortega's statements, and then I want to talk about Nev a little bit in terms of a personal opinion in this video. This is going to be probably a full-on week of Scream content. Got some collaborations I'm working on this week and actually next week, so lots of Scream stuff. We're back. We're finally back full-on for Scream content. So I want to talk about Jenna Ortega's comments first. She was interviewed, and she dropped a couple things. Now, she obviously couldn't go into super detail. The thing she went into the most detail of was Ghostface being very violent, being the most... Now, she talks about how this is going to be really gory. Now, I have some conflicting thoughts on the idea of gore and maybe using it as almost like a masking tool, but the idea that Ghostface is going to be even more intimidating than ever before. And I would say that's a positive. I think in Scream 5, they did a really good job. I would say I would say consistently throughout the entire movie of making Ghostface a real threat. They even talked about using some kind of like, visual tricks almost with Jenna or Tara, right? The character Tara, when she's with the door, that iconic shot of her at the door, and Ghostface is kind of like busting in. The size difference is so gigantic, but that actually was just a filming trick to make Ghostface seem more powerful, more intimidating. So I have nothing against that whatsoever. The gore part, I'm not like against gore, and Scream 5 or Scream 2022 had a lot of gore, like Wes's death, stuff like that. I mean, I think they pushed it in ways that they have never pushed Scream before. Now, just doing it to do it, though, that's always the thing for me, right? When it could be a gaming thing, it could be a movie thing. When you say you're doing stuff, what is the reason why you're doing it? Are you making it gory just for like a shock factor? Because that, to me, it's not going to do much. Well, and at the same time, though, why else would you do gore besides a shock factor? I don't know. So that comment doesn't really do anything for me, but the intimidating thing, yeah, that makes me excited. I would say that's a pretty solid comment. Now, she talks about Kirby, and she talked about Hayden Panettiere, and she talked about how Kirby has always been one of her favorite, Scream characters, and she says that she's happy that Hayden Panettiere gets to come back as Kirby and redeem herself. She used the quote, redeem herself. Now, that's an interesting one to me because how the question was asked. They asked, will she almost be a mentor character to the younger group? And then she said, Jenna said, like, she's not going to touch, that kind of stuff, but she will say this, right? So that's how it was framed, and that's how Jenna kind of got out of the conversation. It's interesting, the word redeem, though, for me, because it's like, why? Now, the only thing I can think of is like she lost, basically, right? I mean, she was left for dead in a way. Now, obviously, paramedics came and saved her or whatever, but I assume redeeming means, she lost everyone. I mean, that's kind of the thing with Scream 4, right? And it could either be a fatal flaw of the movie or maybe a good thing of the movie. The movie ends in the current time, and you obviously you bring back Kirby as an Easter egg in 5, but Jill gone, all these characters, everybody but Judy is gone. I mean, you only have the core 3, and then you have Judy. And then Hayden, maybe, and of course there's the argument of Jill, like she wasn't shot in the head, she was shot in the chest, so could you bring it? But ultimately, everybody's gone. So that's kind of how I look at it, where it's like, why would you need to redeem yourself? Well, you were very smart. Kirby's a very smart character, and she answered the question, right? When she had the trivia round on the phone, she did really good, but she fell for it. She fell for the trap, and then she lost. Ultimately, and she couldn't help Sidney at the end. So I almost look at that as, okay, well, how could you redeem yourself? Well, you could be there for the next group of survivors. You can not lose. You can successfully kind of figure things out, almost put 2 and 2 together, because she did actually take Sidney's advice, right, where she said, like, if you don't trust it, like, then go with your gut, basically, right? If you don't trust him, don't let him in. And she did it, but then she kind of backpedaled on it just a few minutes later. So I like that idea. The final thing was Courtney and Nev. Now, again, how it was asked was, like, Courtney Cox is in. Have you heard anything about Nev Campbell? Paraphrasing, but that, again, it was, like, leading. Like, Courtney's in the movie, but what about Nev? And then Jenna's response was, number one, she doesn't know anything about that stuff, the logistics behind it. Number two, she did inadvertently confirm Courtney, like for sure. And here's the thing. The reason we're using the words confirm, and you could say, well, Alex, Courtney's already in the movie. Not necessarily. I think we all knew she was going to be in it. But even with all the talk that she, did with this movie, she never actually signed on. There was never a press release. There was a press release for the four of them, right? The four main cast members. There was the press release for Hayden Panettiere. There was no press release for Courtney. She didn't do a press release. She didn't announce on Instagram. Nothing, okay? So while we all knew, and I made videos, we knew she'd be back. It technically, still arguably, has not been confirmed. Technically, it hasn't. Jenna saying it, to me, 100%. I mean, that's like the final nail to absolutely confirm it. But still, there is no official, confirmation from any of like the press releases. But again, they do them for certain reasons. Like they don't have to do. You don't have to have a press release to know something. Okay, I know that's kind of a shocker to some Scream fans that you can't maybe like take somebody's word for it, and we'll talk about that in a second. But that's something to think about. So she talks about Courtney, and she says she found out about her just a few days ago. So again, it's like, well, okay, she's in it then. And then for Nev, she doesn't really touch that subject at all. So, all right. Now, along with that, we also had the Bloody Disgusting article today that continued to talk about the Scream fans of yesterday, that talked about the con, right? And that Nev had told them that she wasn't going to return. And Bloody Disgusting basically recapped that and then added in their own part that said they've heard rumblings of that as well. Okay, I think that was the exact word, rumblings, but they've heard similar things, but they're trying to make 100% sure. They're looking for, official confirmation that Nev Campbell's not in the movie. All right. I don't want to go too far into the rabbit hole of I don't know what happened with Scream fans yesterday. I want to do that actually with guests, just so maybe they can reel me in if I get too far. But at this point, I don't think Nev's coming back. I don't think it's wrong to say that based off of people's words. I don't know. One thing I will say, and then again, I'll let guests in future videos kind of reel me in if I go off the rails. I find it crazy that some people would rather label somebody like Master Chaos TV a liar immediately. Some people would rather say these people are just kind of like an Amber Heard. These people are looking for their 15 minutes of fame, which she is. But they would rather say that about these people and just call random convention goers complete liars. They have no idea what they're talking about. They'd rather do that than look at and say, well, maybe Nev was telling the truth, or maybe Nev said it on purpose and she was lying to them. She was purposely. Now, I don't believe that, but maybe you could, there's that argument. Then there's also the argument of, well, why would she turn down a script? Instead of being so defensive, maybe she did. And the question is, well, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It doesn't necessarily have a bad implication. In fact, it doesn't, okay? There could be a bad implication, but there doesn't have to be. Can we talk about that? That's all I'll say for now. I don't understand why we do that. I don't understand why and again, this is a very small group. The people on my channel, I haven't seen any of you guys do it, so thank you. You know what I mean? You guys are the good ones. But yeah, I don't understand it. So I guess, and why that's important now is because, all right, well, now we had these people, human beings, yesterday, so some of them content creators, come out, say this stuff. They were labeled liars. And then now today, what's also funny, today is now Bloody Disgusting posts this article, right? They recap that. Again, so this is literally what happened. Bloody Disgusting posts the article. They recap what happened yesterday with all these fans, right? And then they say their own sources. And the response that they got is that it's still rumors. And it's like, all right, again, I guess it is. Maybe. But it's like, why are we so defensive about it? Where it's like, Bloody Disgusting aren't they Now, I truly don't care too much about any of these publications, all right? Scream is the only horror movie I really care about or really even watch. You know what I mean? So I don't care if Bloody Disgusting is telling the truth or lying to people. But ultimately, I'm pretty sure they're well respected. I'm pretty sure they're well known. I'm pretty sure people normally go by them every other time. It's just now because they say that they believe that Nev also isn't going to be in the movie. Now people say, oh, you can't trust that. I mean, they say they've heard rumblings. I mean, what does that even mean? And it's like, can't we just maybe accept it? Why are we being so tough on it? So I don't know. I don't know what to say. We'll talk about it more in future videos, but that is the news update. Obviously, they start filming today. seen nothing so far. If there is something, maybe we can do a quick video tomorrow morning or something, or even later today. We can do 2 Scream videos in a day. We'll see how it goes. But again, Scream content is fully back. I expect to do at least a video every other day, maybe even every single day, depending on, you know, what happens in the Scream universe. So appreciate you guys being here. We're back. We're better than ever. I'm probably going to be more controversial than ever before, and I hope to see you guys on the next video. Thank you for watching.